health care. They endure stopgapping, equipment shortages, reduced training, physical, mental, and financial problems, and the red tape pushed by a dump-them military bureaucracy during their stay or discharge. Too many are abused and neglected to committing suicides that are not reported, are not counted as casualties of war, are not counted at all. Though they served and sacrificed, their suicides brought by untreated war stressors are hidden, as are the coffins of their fellow soldiers at Dover. Not only is the Army broken, as attested by generals in Congress, but also broken are military and veteran health care systems. On the hill of hypocrisy, there are more administration lies, guilty war politician sighs, and ongoing failed war policy denials. The costs of war are paid by our soldiers, families, and children. Soldier and family suffer the deaths and wounds, the effects of IEDs, of our own depleted uranium, of killing, of traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, depression, and multiple emotional harms. They pay with their lives, limbs, minds, and in unmet care needs. They have been lied to, lied down in body bags, and shot into military cubbyholes rather than guided to the best follow-up care, rehabilitation, and benefits options. What is true is that the administration and Congress continue to commit the tortures of war on our families, Iraqi families, and God's children, rather than care for their wounds and their losses. Our soldiers, families, and children were not born to kill, torture, maim, or to be stressed insane. Remember their young beginnings, their peaceful times, the rainbows they carried, the memories they color for us still. For them, and with their presence of faith, hope, and love, we must end this war of lies and cries. Whoever or whatever one's God, religion, or conviction, for those who deceive them, took them, neglect them, surge, and keep them into deciders' unnecessary war of lies, there are consequences for the heritage that must be realized, for the harms heaped upon God's children. Soldiers and families, still children, sacred always, know the pains of violence that makes no sense. Creators of this war will suffer torments all one day, yet for all it did not have to be that way. The choice between the violence of war or the blessings of peace are evident in two quotes from different spirits. "Bring them on," ranted George with his arrogant taunt that targeted our soldiers and Iraqi families bringing 5 years of war. "America has no commander-in-chief, but a mission accomplished, deceiver and thief. As a veteran of the 82nd, I believe him to be mad. Never a soldier or a veteran enabled by Congress to make war on our own, yet he ran from serving in Vietnam." Another quote is of a president who would do the hard work of communication and diplomacy. Quote, "We will not learn to live in peace by killing each other's children," President Jimmy Carter. George and the self-righteous ideologues rant to again surge. More of our troops as targets and escalate his reckless war wrongs. We must be the deciders and demand that Congress bring our soldiers home and that they never die in a war of lies again. The bloody hands of unrepentant members of House and Senate must tear down the lies and end this war now. The 5th year of violence, death, and maiming has arrived as the myth of war has been fed by non-oversight blank checks for $500 billion. Funding has continued the endless war of lies and forsaken and betrayed our troops to civil war. The blank check funding is again surging thousands more of our soldier loved ones into harm's way. The legacy of the arrogant and fatal Iraq War administration, complicit Congress, and profiteering contributors is lies, bloodshed, pain, and shame. Our soldiers serve, suffer, are killed, and commit suicide. They lose lives, limbs, and mental abilities. Just as there was no plan to end the war and occupation, there was no plan to provide the needed care for the overwhelming numbers and severity of wounds suffered by our soldiers and families. Congress must defund and end this war and fund real support for our troops. It must provide for their safe return and must create and assure provision of the best medical, mental, and rehabilitative care. Funding with oversight must contribute to the rebuilding of Iraq, to the health care and healing of Iraqi families, and to care for our own soldiers and families harmed in war or in disaster. Thy children shall be taught of righteousness, and great shall be thy peace. The work of righteousness is peace. Thank you, peacemakers, for doing that work. We must demand that Congress also do the work of peace and defund the war. Bring our soldiers home now. Take care of them and confront, remove, and impeach every Pharisee and politician who would send, abuse, and kill any child in a Bushite war of lies. Thank you.